O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off, and we got markets in the red this afternoon on Tuesday, but we've clawed back a dramatic amount of losses right now. You have the S&Ps negative by 1/3%, 0.3 in the red, trading off by 23 points at 66.68. We had lows out here, and we did it with some volume. Okay, you check out that volume. Now, this is a 5-minute bar. Tell you what, let's put it on a 10-minute. And you look at the acceleration we had today. You actually got buying, right? Look where the volume. It came in at the lows, but each time you finished a little bit higher, I was looking, than the previous bars. Nonetheless, you're talking about an S&Ps right now. Solid 70-plus points above the lows, 66.66. How about that one for you? NASDAQ 100, tech stocks under pressure right now. Amazon, Microsoft as well, NVIDIA, their numbers this week, tomorrow after the bell. NASDAQ 100 was down to 24,376. We're down by 0.6% right now, off 156 points at 24,722. The Dow off by 0.7% in the red, off 310 points at 46,357. You see the acceleration beginning at about 12:30 for the Dow to higher price, and the Russell up by 0.7% right now. And yeah, a big component, folks. How about this when you look at the NASDAQ 100, right? The biggest tech companies out there. NVIDIA down 1.5. Microsoft off 2.5. AMD 3% in the red out there. Amazon down 3.1%. Pinduoduo down by 7%. Tesla off by 1% right now. Lam Research off 1.9%. You jump over to Oracle in the green, actually, up by 0.7%. All right, we jump to Home Depot. Their numbers. And yeah, some tough numbers, and you're coming down near the lows right now for Home Depot. Down by $16.84, off 4.7%. And you jump to some of those Home Depot numbers, they cut the forecast on weak demand for big-ticket items. There's a couple of items they talk about here. It's not just one thing or the other. The insurance season, the storm season, okay, people don't have to replace as much as they have to usually on years when we did not have a bad storm season. In Florida, nothing came near us in Tampa. But yeah. Talking about the numbers, they talk of a frozen market. We had expected demand to begin accelerating gradually in the back half of the year as interest in mortgage rates eased, but what we see is ongoing consumer uncertainty and continued pressure in housing disproportionately impacting home improvement demand. Yeah. They expect their adjusted earnings per share to decline 5% from a year ago. The company said its profit and comp sales came in lower than expected in the quarter, citing overall weakness in the housing market and a lack of storms that hampered demand in roofing, generators, and other categories. Down by 5%. You take a look at this chart in a longer-term perspective. Now, that line that's there, you got to go way back for that one, okay? Just kind of a trend line from the lows of 2011. But we just take a look at a shorter-term look on this thing. And you're coming into this bar from the tariff lows. That's all. That's the only thing standing in the way. You got 325 out here, which is the lows of 2024. On a volume basis, you're going to destroy the volume on a weekly. It's only Tuesday, and you've already done 12.3 million shares. You're breaking the lows, and you're going to do it with volume. It's only Tuesday. So Home Depot under pressure. On the flip side of that, Meta. So they win their antitrust lawsuit. Talking about Instagram and WhatsApp, talk about rewinding the clock, that we're still litigating their acquisition of Instagram. But that's what's going on, and Meta wins it. The FTC antitrust trial over Instagram and the WhatsApp deals. And one thing they said in here, failed to prove, this is the federal district judge, James Boasberg in Washington, said the FTC failed to prove the deals allowed the tech giant to illegally monopolize the social networking market. I found this interesting. I'm going to read it to you. With apps surging and receding, chasing one craze and moving on from others, and adding new features with each passing year, the FTC has understandably struggled to fix the boundaries of Meta's product market. He knows that there's more that the FTC could do to rein in them a bit, but then he goes on. There could be a but. Whether or not Meta enjoyed monopoly power in the past, though, the agency must show that it continues to hold such power now. In the court's verdict today determines that the FTC has not done so. So they don't hold that monopoly power right now, even if they may have used it in the past. And yeah, they respond gleefully, but you kept the acceleration, and that's where the news hit at about 12:30. There's your acceleration on volume, and Meta trades higher with the market. You're down by 0.2%, but Meta's been under pressure recently as well. You check out this selling off their last earnings. You've eased up a bit each week, but that is some selling, folks. And where's this thing going to find a bid? Because look, you look at the selling on a daily basis, sustaining versus anything we were doing. Most days we were doing, what, 6 million shares, 7 million shares? The norm recently has been above 20. Look at these days, 23, 29, 24, 21, 27, right? We were doing 9, 8, 7, all of October. So we have some selling going on in Meta right now. They catch a reprieve today as, yeah, they win it with Instagram and WhatsApp. And realistically, yeah, he knew they were a huge competition, man. And, you know, back then, though, that was a big gamble. And that gamble paid off in spades, as my dad would say. All right, we take a look at yields in focus. That's your weekly. You take a look at the daily. October 17th, you're all the way up to 114.02. We've backed off as higher yields have crept in. The expectations of a Fed cut in December, lightning to put it lightly. And intraday, quite the reversal here. When the market sells off, yields are where investors are hiding on a risk off right now. And when the market reverberates to higher, they're selling fixed income, they're buying equities. Yeah, 4.12 on the 10-year right now. 4.12. The dollar with some strength, up to 99.65 earlier. We're back into 99.54. Quite an acceleration, but you give it back. And gold, quite the resurge from overnight lows of 39.97. We're trading at 4,075 right now. Check out Warner Brothers Discovery. So news out there, the Paramount Skydance, they're going to make a bid. And it's going to be a big number. Yeah, and it's going to be backed by Saudi money. Why not, right? So that accelerating higher. So what was it, 71 billion? Yeah, 71 billion. That they are prepping a $71 billion deal for Warner Brothers Discovery. With 3 Arab investors. Now, this thing was just trading at $12.50. How many outstanding shares you got? 2.5 billion shares outstanding. Whew. All right, folks. Markets in the red. S&P's off by 25. We're coming back with our man, Basil Chapman. Don't go away.